Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. In Eira Chaim, Shulchan Aruch Siman Pei Test Seif Gimel, the Mechaber writes a halacha that we have to study. The Mechaber says, Aser loy lehis asik b'tzrachov, a person is not allowed to do his personal needs, he's not allowed to do business, Achi yispalo tfilas yutches, until he says Shemoneh Esrei. In other words, first daven to Hashem, be thankful and ask for your blessings and for his blessings, etc., etc., and then you go on to work. Comes the Ramah, and the Ramah says, V'yesh makilim la'achar sha'amu mixas brachos. There are those that are a little easy once you said already some of the brachos, before Baruch Sha'amar, you already could start doing stuff. And the Ramah brings from the Trumas Hadeshen, V'toiv lahachmir b'zeh. It's actually better if you daven first like a mensch, and you daven, and then you go to work. Now, obviously, not every job allows that to happen, because some jobs start very early, and it could be that it is it's even before the time you are able to daven. So, how do you deal with this halacha in Shulchan Aruch? So, in the Sifrei Achronim, we find that they compare this a little to Hilchos Chol Hamoed. We know that in Hilchos Chol Hamoed, you're not allowed to do work on Chol Hamoed. It's I could say maybe a minor Yom Tif or a Yom Tif. Yet a davar ha'ovid, something that you will lose if you don't deal with it on Yom Tif, there are ways allowed. You're allowed to do it. So some want to compare this situation of davening, the when are you allowed to do work before, is if this is the only job you have, and it's quote unquote a davar ha'ovid, fine, say whatever brachas to kickstart the day with something special like a tefillah, and then you go to work, and somewhere a little later you'll daven. Some want to compare it to that halacha. Nevertheless, obviously this is something that you can't just decide on your own. You have to speak to a Rav and see what is the right thing to do. You try never to set up your day that it has to be that you go to work first and then you daven later. I saw a phenomenal story with the Mordechai Chernobyl that perhaps will give us insight about this topic. The Mordechai Chernobyl, one of his chassidim, once came to him to get a bracha. So he asked him, tell me what your schedule of the day is. So he says, Rebbe, I have a very rough day. I wake up early, and my business, my office, or whatever it is, starts very, very, very early. And when I'm done with that job, I manage to find some time to daven. And that's when I daven. So when the Rebbe heard that, the Rebbe says, that's not the right way how it should be done. A Yid should always try when he wakes up to daven first, and only then you go to the mundane thing. Actually, this is based on the Gemara. The Gemara Masechta Brachas Daf Hey says, Abba Binyamin Omer. Abba Binyamin says, Al Shnei Dvarim Ayisi Mitztar Kol Yomai. Two things bothered me all my life, and one of them is Tfilasi Shetei Smucha Lemitasi. I really wanted that my davenings to be as close as possible to my bed, to my sleeping. Rashi says, I didn't want to allow myself to do any malacha till I daven first, and that's something that should be a Yid's drive. So this is what the Mordechai Chernobyl was telling his chassid. And he said, so the chassid says, Rebbe, I have no choice. If I don't go to the market right away, I'm going to lose. In the mornings when everybody comes to the market, I'm going to lose all my customers. I won't have anybody to do business with. So the Rebbe answers him and says like this, I want to tell you a story. There was a story of a simple Melamed. Now back then, a person was a Melamed, he was hired out for a 6-month period of time or whatever, a year. He left his family and he worked for a Melamed for 6 months, and then he would get a sack of money, and after 6 months he would come home, here's the sack of money, and so that's how he would do it. So the Melamed left his house and stayed out of town for 6 months, a year, and Baruch Hashem, the father paid the Melamed, and now he has his bag of money. So as he's traveling back to his house, it's a long journey. He has to stay in different places, different hotels, kretschmas, till he gets to his destiny. So in every place he was afraid that my whole sum of money that I put together over a year's work I have to make sure it doesn't get stolen. So everywhere he held it near him. But one place he stayed over Shabbos, and when he came over after Shabbos right away, he would right away look into the bag and to see if all the coins were there. So he emptied out all the coins, and he would count all the coins, and that's how he was. Baruch Hashem. One time, another person staying at a hotel sees how he's counting the money, and he says, "What's this all about?" He says, "I had a bag of money. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't stolen." He says, "I don't understand you. You had some gold coins, you had silver coins, and you had copper cheap coins. What are you counting the copper cheap coins? If there was a Ganev, he would have. Once you know that he didn't take the gold coins, he's not interested in this copper. Once you see that the gold coins are there, you know already that everything will be fine. Fool! What are you counting the baby stuff?" This is the story the Rebbe tells him, and he says, you know that the story is a tremendous lesson. You wake up in the morning, and you say, "I'm breathing. Hashem, thank you. You gave me back my neshama." This is the big stuff. The same Hashem that did to you this big stuff, and you have the gold coins, what are you worried about the little stuff? If Hashem gave you your neshama back, and He gave you another day to live, that same Hashem will for sure take care of your business. And zarg sich nicht.